Hi, everybody. How we doing tonight?
Yeah.
Good, good. Many years ago, I had one of the worst summers of my life. On Memorial Day, the then love of my life broke up with me. So I decided I'd spend the whole summer indoors, crying, and listening to Don't Look Back in Anger by Oasis, like on repeat. Like looking at her picture, like, I'm not gonna, man! What, that King of Wishful Thinking, too, by Go West. That song, you know, I'm gonna get over. I didn't. So I had a really terrible summer, and then finally Labor Day rolls around, and I realized I had no fun the entire summer. Like, nothing good happened, nothing exciting happened, and I was kind of miserable and sad because I was still kind of young, and like now as an adult, I don't give a shit. Like, nothing can happen, and I'm like, thank God. So my best friend had just purchased a home in Media, Delaware County, Pennsylvania. Woo, yeah! Delconian. So my friend purchased this beautiful home on top of a hill, surrounded by woods, 2 acres. I mean, absolutely stunning home, her and her husband. Her husband's my hero, but that's a story for another time. So they just had a baby, and about 2 months before, and they decide to have like a small party at their home. So my friend Susan's like, look, get out of the house, stop being a loser, put pants on, come to my party. She's like, all right. So I go to the party, and it's just a normal party. It's a couple of our friends, a lot of her family and such. Her brother-in-law, this guy named Zeke, he's there. He's just same size as me, so when we walk around, people are like, oh, it's the Lollipop Kids. So, like, it was, like, kind of like a boring time because, like I said, I was, like, heartbroken. There was no women there to date. Like, her mom just wasn't feeling me, you know? And I love you, Candy, because you're going to see this. So it was around 11 o'clock that night, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to go home, and I'm going to go listen to Go West again and just cry and wait for, you know, random acts of emotional terrorism from my ex where she would send me texts like, I still love you, and I'm like, no, you don't. So just as I was about to leave, we built a fire. Don't ask me why. It was September, and literally there was no rain all summer. So of course we built a fire because A, we're from Delaware County, and B, why not, you know? So I get up to leave, and as I'm leaving, Zeke is walking past me because the fire started to go out. So he's walking past me with a can of gasoline. And I said to him, don't think that's a good idea, buddy. So I just walked right past him. I go in the house where my friend to say goodbye to my best friend. And she's washing some dishes, putting things away. And there's this beautiful big bay window that looked out in her backyard. And that's where the sink is. And she's doing the dishes. And I'm like, hey, you know, I'm going to get going. And she goes, oh, that's fine. And she hugs me. And then I turn around and I go, on second thought, I'm not leaving. And she goes, why? I go, because your whole yard is on fire. Now what happened was Deke decided to put the gasoline on top of the fire, you know, but he was 15 beers deep and didn't realize that fire will follow the vapor trail. So he's in there with the gas can. The fire has leapt from the fire pit into the gas can, and his arm's on fire. So he's shaking around the gas can like some limp Roman candle, and it's just shooting fire everywhere. So the whole, like an area, I'm not even kidding you, probably as big as like to that wall to here, is on fire. Like just straight fire. And I'm like, oh my God. Like I freak out, so I do the smartest thing I can do. I fill up 2 12 glasses of water, and I go outside and just dump it on the fire like, ugh, like the way I throw a baseball. So Susan comes over, kicks me out of the way, and just starts fire extinguishing everything, proving once again that women are the smarter sex. So Deke has fallen to the ground, he stopped, drop, and rolling. She fire extinguishes him, and then he gets up, and he is just a mess of a human being. He's lost his eyebrows, half his hair singed, his shirt is just, it looks like he jammed a fork in an electrical socket. That's the best way I can describe the way he looks. So her brother Kevin grabs him and takes him into the car and takes him to Riddle Memorial Hospital. So me, my friend Susan, and her sister Mary Kate, we get the hose out, we make sure everything's out, because literally the fire got to within an inch of her house. Like they have a wooden-based sunroom that they built. So like the whole house would be engulfed in flames with her sleeping husband, her 8-year-old daughter with a broken leg, and her 6-week-old baby. Okay, so this was like, so she was pissed. So she walks out, grabs a can of Miller Lite, shotguns the whole thing, throws it into the trash can and goes pump and dump. I was like, pump and dump? Oh, you're breastfeeding, okay. So then we're sitting there and we're like, oh my God, like what the hell happened? And we look over and Zeke had left his wallet with all his medical information in it. And it was one of those like King James wallets. Like it was so big it looked like a Bible. Like when you go to mass and the priest opens that massive Bible. So we're like, okay, Nick, you're sober. We got to go to Riddle and drop this off. So I said, okay. I was like, to the Batmobile. Although my car was not a Batmobile. It was a 1990 Nissan Maxima that had seen better days. It was so bad, matter of fact, that I went on a blind date like a couple weeks before, and the girl walked out, got halfway down her steps, saw my car and went, nope, and turned around and walked back in. It was so bad that it was also haunted by the ghost of an 80s hair metal fan, because every time you got in my car, no matter what happened, a Guns N' Roses song came on. I told them this, we get in the car, the beginning drums to Paradise City come on. We're driving to Riddle. My friend Mary Kate, her sister in the back goes, can I smoke in the car? I said, yes. She goes, your window doesn't go down. I said, you can tap it on the floor because this is a piece of shit. We pull into the emergency room. We get there. Susan goes in the back. Me and Mary Kate, we go in the waiting room. Now, again, this was not a night I had planned for. So in the waiting room, there was a mother, her college-age daughter, and a teenage son. And the mother and the daughter are laughing hysterically at this poor teenager. And I'm like, I gotta find out what this is about. So I go over and I sit down and I go, hey, what's going on, guys? How you guys doing? How was your Labor Day? And they start laughing. And I go, oh, what are you into? You sick? To the kid? Because I'm a chatty asshole. Like, I'm the worst person you ever want anywhere. And he goes, yeah. He goes, well, I'm in here. And then he didn't tell me. And his mom goes, tell him. He goes, all right, well, I was out in the woods with my friends. And I had to go to the bathroom. So I used a bunch of leaves as toilet paper. And now I got poison ivy all in this area. And I was like, this night just keeps getting better. And I was like, well, why didn't you use your socks, man? He's like, I just bought these socks. They're freaking from Abercrombie and Fitch. I was like, oh, okay. So anyway, so Susan goes in the back. I can't stop laughing at this kid, so I've given up on whatever happened in the back. But she goes in, and she hands him, this guy, Zeke, his medical information. And at that moment, the doctor walked in. And he goes, yeah, doc, I was just trying to fill up my Zippo lighter with lighter fluid. Meanwhile, the whole room smelled like gasoline. So we leave, we get everything settled. We decide to go back to Susan's. Her brother stays with this guy. So we come back, and he comes walking up the steps. He's got two mitts on. He looks like Mickey Mouse, like a drunk Mickey Mouse. He had third-degree burns on both of his hands. So he has these giant mitts. They gave him 2 Vicodin, and he's had 15 beers. And he says to Susan, I'm okay to drive home. And we're like, there's just no way in hell that's happening. So he's trying to drive home, and then we started making fun of him, because, like, can you imagine getting pulled over, and the cop just, like, walks up to that car, and he's got drunk Mickey Mouse who smells like gasoline. He's like, I'm fine to drive, officer. So finally, we get him to go. We call his wife. She's infuriated. So we're like, okay. We get him, and we put him to bed. And I was like, you know what, at this time, it's like 4 in the morning. I was like, I'm just going to spend the night, and we're going to have coffee, and we're going to discuss this shit in the morning. I get up at 9, and he's gone. He's gone. He's not there. I'm always the first one awake all the time. As you can tell, I have a lot of energy. So, like, I wake up, he's gone, and the whole room just smells like gasoline. You know? Like, it's just, the couch smells like gasoline. You're like, oh my God, nobody light a match because we'll all die, right? So everyone wakes up, and we're telling the story. We tell Susan's husband, again, my hero, my favorite person, and he's like, I'm going to strangle him. And then I never saw Zeke again, said his real name, because I never saw him. That was the last time I saw him, because he ended up getting divorced because of that. So I turned one of the worst summers of my life, where I did absolutely shit because I was heartbroken, into one fun night. Best night of my life. Thank you guys very much.